I'm from St. Louis. And I mention that because when I meet someone, one of the first things I ask is, where are you from? Because that gives us a relative sense of someone's background. And I know here in Baltimore, if two guys are from Baltimore, they ask, what school did you go to? And I mentioned that I'm from St. Louis because I've now been here in Baltimore for almost 20 years. And Stan, you're right, this has become my home. And what's interesting is if you work as a journalist in this town, when you first get here, Baltimore is provincial, and I don't say that negatively, that you got to prove to us that you can tell us what we probably already know unless you can come up with more. And that's true with a lot of towns, and I was fortunate early in my arrival here to have the story that you mentioned, the Cleveland Browns relocating here. But there have been times when folks in Baltimore go, what do you know about us? You're not from here, which is that's fine, I'll take that on. And I have a couple responses to that. First is, no, I'll tell them I'm from St. Louis, like the Baltimore Orioles and Earl Weaver. 1954, you guys know all that stuff. So it's not about where you're from, it's about who you are. And the other thing I'll say too is, they'll say, you're not from here. And I said, were you born here in Baltimore? Well, proudly they'll say, yes, I was. I say, I got you beat. I twice chose to live here. It wasn't your choice, you were born here. I made a conscious decision to move here, not just once, but twice. So I love it here, I really do. And I appreciate all that Baltimore is, and it's very similar to my hometown of St. Louis. Tom Boswell of the Washington Post was at the ballpark the other night and wrote a piece about sort of the resurgence of interest in the Orioles. And in it, Buck Showalter had a quote in which he said, Baltimore is like St. Louis and Kansas City, towns in which hardworking people identify with their teams, and it's important to them that that the teams do well. So it was neat to see Buck make mention of that.